Hey everyone, it is LSID932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Ultimatum. This is episode 8. Before we get into it, and it's got hot, cold, it's a little bit of a roller coaster like someone said, please take a moment to like the video, share, subscribe, leave a comment below because, we are in here for the long haul. Only 2 more episodes after this. Let me grab my notes, please, because we got a lot to get into. So we start off with Nick feeling bad, and he apologizes. Sorry doesn't fix everything, Nick. You've apologized before. We done heard it all before, according to the song. He then says, I love you. She's like, there's more to it than love. There's also respect. Sandy, I agree with you. But you're accepting a lot of disrespect. But that's just me. So Sandy said it's toxic to put someone you love through all of this. Nick says her feelings are valid and there are things about himself he does not like. She said, he has no bad intentions. And I'm like, Sandy, wake up. He doesn't have bad intentions. Well, what was his intent coming to the door? What was his intent? Because I would like to hear it. Is his intent just to get his lady love back? Because it was scary. She says she needs him to let her go. Sandy, in what we are seeing in this produced show, in this edited show, Sandy, you need to leave. You don't want someone to just let you go. And I'm wondering, though, on the flip side, do you want him to let you go so you can leave? That is a question. Jaron Zanaya, he recaps his hard childhood. He said he now has to relearn and how to love himself. So Zanaya said it's hard to build yourself up. And she doesn't want to chase him, but she wants someone who chooses her 100%. I totally understand you, Zanaya. Totally understand you. But there's just something under the surface which I'm just not quite believing. I don't know. So then we have Arya and Scotty. He is tired of her getting emotional whenever he brings stuff up. Scotty, this is all emotions. This can be devastating for someone. Arya says she wants him to notice that she is giving him more and she is actively trying. She is crying and Scotty doesn't comfort her. She is crying. I hope you remember, Arya, last time you were crying in your trial marriage, Caleb ran and got the toilet tissue. He didn't get the facial tissue, but he got something to certainly help you while you were crying. Scotty says he will not spare her feelings. If he is not getting the stuff that he needs, he will not marry her. I'm like, he doesn't even notice in the moment that she's actively doing what he wants. More physical touch, she's rubbing his back, she's holding his hand. He's not even sensing it. And Arya says the same thing. Mariah and Caleb. Caleb says that she stormed off when he answered all of her questions. She said she just wanted a hug. Caleb is like, why must I hug you when I'm being judged? Caleb, there's no rationing of hugs, dear. There's no rationing. You're being judged doesn't mean you can't hug your partner. Mariah says, I'm expressing how I'm feeling. I'm not judging you. On this is a human basic level. And I'm like, does Caleb think he doesn't need to change? Does Caleb think he's perfect as he is? Because that's what it's given to me. So she tells him all of his qualities, sympathizes on how he must feel being with someone like her. And I'm like, what is going on here? Does Caleb need adoration and to hear praise? He hugs her when she's crying. At least he is the only spouse I see that is commiserating with his person and actually hugging them, providing comfort while they're crying. Sandy and Nick, they meet her mom. Nick says that JR is a player and he was really into Sandy and that's what he was concerned about. Nick, I call BS. Like JR said. Or no, as Scotty said about JR. No, Scotty said about Caleb thinking Arya is just a friend and he ain't attracted. I call BS. Nick. So Sandy says she missed out on a part of the experience in seeing him Nick with someone else and see how that will make her feel. Nick said he's never been this in love with someone and he acted poorly because he was scared. If this is the kind of love that folks are handing out there right now, I'm so glad I am off the market. This is some scary stuff. So Sandy said Nick is showing up better now. Really? The other night wasn't showing up better? Then that when he was spazzing out about the fact that you kissed JR twice? That wasn't better. Nick said he's taken ownership for all he has done in their relationship. So while Nick leaves and goes to the restroom or wherever, Mom says, y'all bring out good qualities in each other, but how was JR? Sandy said JR was grounded, and Mom acknowledged, hey Sandy, you were calmer with JR. So Sandy said being with Nick is like a roller coaster and overwhelming. But she cannot imagine life without him, and he is her best life partner. Now, Sandy, sometimes you got to get off the roller coaster, okay? Sometimes riding the roller coaster is a little too much. There's like a health safety hazard sign next to most roller coasters, and I don't think you're reading the fine print on this one. But hey, if you like it, I guess I gotta love it. Zanaya and JR, she gives him Eagles gifts as an early birthday gift. And she said, maybe if you put a ring on me, then the Eagles might get a ring too. Zanaya, I love how you suddenly put out all the stuff, say, hey, I do want a ring. Hey. And you make it so fun and light. But you are like, hey, where that ring at? Mariah and Caleb, they go fishing. They joke about his horrible casting. Now, ooh, Caleb, that was dangerous. The cast, it went straight over her head. It could have caught on her or her line. Ooh. But Mariah said, this whole process helped her understand herself. Caleb said he is facing the ugliness and learning self-understanding too. I want to see what the ugliness is, Caleb. We've been seeing calm. We ain't seen a whole bunch of ugly. You're getting a good edit, Caleb, though I think there's some things there that we may want to see. Caleb does acknowledge they will be an unstoppable team once he gets communication and etc. in order. Okay, Caleb, you see a future. Aria and Scotty, even in joking, they are passive aggressive with each other. Ooh, she says, you were not prepared for me with paper towels, huh? And it's just back and forth. I understand a little pull and tug, but it seemed like digs. Scotty says if something is not done the way she wants it, it changes her whole day. Sounds like you too, Scotty. She doesn't trust any decisions that he's made, and Zanaya has validated him, and he doesn't get that from Aria. He said he got it from Zanaya without asking. So I'm guessing he wants, some words of affirmation. Or is it praise? I don't know. So Aria says she's sorry he doesn't feel validated and that she's, critiquing things. He said, it's not things, you're critiquing me. And I'm like, Scotty, you talked about this with Zanaya. It's not you. It's the things. You're falling right back into the old habits, Scotty, and the old ways of thinking, but it's new. But you're falling back in there. He said she's always upset about something. And because of that, he gets it. Because of her past experiences with men she does not trust, he's catching strays. It's like she's waiting for him to fail and to justify her feelings that something was going to happen. The shoe was going to drop. He said, how do I navigate this for a lifetime? Interesting question, Scotty. 3 days until an answer. Then we see Zanaya and JR. She said she fell in love with him all over again. She felt like they were drifting. He's like, me too. They were out to dinner. She looked absolutely gorgeous. He does acknowledge that, which is wonderful. And she acknowledges that he looks at her differently. She is so glad he was open to the process and appreciated Sandy for challenging him. It's what he needed. Great way to put a positive spin, Zanaya. Great way. Because other than that, you might be spiraling like Nick. I'm sorry. She never thought that he would ever leave with Sandy. Okay, sometimes people lose because they don't recognize the other player as competition. Just a thought. Jera said that Zanaya would make an amazing wife, but it did take him 3 years to get here. Sandy and Nick, they are on the docks on a picnic bench with candles all around the top of the picnic table. He said he never had an idea that he needed to change. He just figured someone would accept him as he is, and she has made him better. What has been his dating life that people just accept this behavior? I'm sorry, Nick, I just don't see it. Sandy said it has made her a better person, learning how to grow and to love him. Sandy, you challenge JR. You're not challenging Nick. She said jealousy has never been a thing for them until now. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I do not believe this is the first time Nick has spazzed out. Not only, but also because of Sandy's reaction, like this is normal. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. Nick said, forgiveness is a big part of this, and she's like, yeah, she does forgive and she lets things go, but she's working through it. Nick says things are happening fast, but it's clear she is his person. I'm glad he's clear, because I'm not. I'm sorry, but, I don't have a vote in this. Aria and Scotty, she says she sees his growth. Scotty says, I didn't have the faith in you that I wanted you to have in me during this process. That was well said, Scotty. Aria said, this is a blessing in disguise because they would have broken up. Now, one thing about this scene that caught me off guard is she told him, I love you 2 times, and Scotty said nothing. Scotty didn't even go, or same, or ditto. He just stared at her. Now, I'm hoping this is editing. I'm hoping they just put his face over, but it seemed like it was a whole run through. But I'm going to give you a pinch of salt on editing. So the final night, Mariah and Caleb. Mariah said, do you think life will change once we're engaged? Well, guess what Caleb said? Caleb's like, we going to get engaged? What if this is our last night together? What if this doesn't turn out the way you want it, Mariah? I was like, oh, Caleb. Yes, that is true. But dadgolly, let her have 5 seconds to feel like she will get engaged. So Mariah said she will be sad and heartbroken, but she is grateful for the love he has given her. And he says he's never felt like this before. I'm like, does Caleb need adoration? Does he need someone to constantly tell him how good of a guy he is? He said he does worry about her and marriage. She says, hey, marriage excites me, and I'm not worried. He says it scares him, and he has a lot of to work on. I was like, oh, Caleb, is this true, or is this an excuse? Are you going to say, I can't really marry you now because I'm not in a place where I need to be? It's me and not you. Caleb, I'm watching it. He says, I may not have gotten to the point that you want me to get fast enough. Caleb, it sounded like you don't want to marry this girl, but are you deflecting? Are you giving me a smoke screen? I don't know. Z and JR, she got him balloons in the room because they will not be together for his birthday. Maybe not together. So Zanaya understands that, his hesitations, and they talk a lot more. JR says he now understands why she wants the commitment. He sings her praise. She's a good person and she has a sweet soul. Sandy and Nick, they are hugging in the bed, and Nick said, this could be our last night together. And Sandy said, that's a scary thought. Sandy, I hope you say it's a scary thought, because if you get with somebody next, Nick might be at the door asking to see you. I hope that's a scary thought. She thanks him for staying in the process, and he said he doesn't want to wake up without her again. Because of Nick spazzing out, I'm constantly hearing what he says with a pinch of, he gonna spaz out. You just saying this to pacify him. Daggone it. Whew. I don't have the forgiveness and forgetting that Sandy does. I'm sorry. So in the final morning, Scotty and Aria, he said he doesn't feel she is sure as she says she is. She's like, hey, that's all I can do is tell you and show you. And Scotty acknowledges that he needs to reassure himself. He said he questions, can they love each other the way they both need it? Yes, Scotty, yes. Finally I can be like, ooh, Scotty, you said a word. Can they love each other the way they both need? That is a huge question every couple has to answer. So she said she cannot force him to see that they can grow together, but she can't serve him if it isn't serving her. Yes, Arya. Who handed them these lines? Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. So we see it's ultimatum day. We see Nick and Sandy recapturing what they have done in this whole process. And we see Sandy get out the car, walking down the path. When Sandy says hi, JR turns around. And that is the end of episode 8. Why did y'all do this? This is not a cliffhanger I want to live with for a week. I'm hoping they just part ways, because we see Sandy does show up to talk to Nick later. Woo! Please don't tell me JR and Sandy are walking away with each other. I'm hoping this is just a good goodbye. That's what I need at the beginning of this. But I thank you for joining me. Please join me for the final 2 episodes next week. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.